Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hole in the Wall. Hurry up and take a seat because we have a ton to go over today. My intrepid co-host Nemy was on location for Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. He's got some stories and a couple pictures to share for us, talking all about the themed haunts this year, which were really geared towards people in the gaming and nerd cultures in general. We have a ton of information that just came out of MagicCon Atlanta, and we've kind of prepared a lot of that to share with you all today, and a couple of more stories to round out the episode. So let's dive into our first topic. Nemy,
Hello.
how was Halloween Horror Nights?
Well, before I start talking, I want to apologize. Got a little stuff crumb in my nose, so if I sound weird, that's it. The Halloween Horror Nights, it was awesome. Um, it's one of those things that it's a seasonal thing, so they only do it during the Halloween months, and they really go all out. Universal is pretty much known for their immersion, and that's the best way to describe it. You're just literally immersed in the worlds that they put together. This year was very like catered to myself because some of the houses that they have were Fallout, which is my favorite series of all time, Five Nights at Freddy's, WWE Wyatt Six of all things. So the houses themselves were just phenomenal. We can go into some of the photos that I have. Not too many because they wouldn't allow you to take pictures in the houses. But essentially, this year was themed around television and movies. So like their theme was you're trapped in these worlds that you come to know and love watching. So the Fallout one was based specifically on the season one of the TV show. So you're following the footsteps of what happened through the show, and it's like you were there. Like it starts you off in the vault, and the raiders are taking it over, and
Oh,
you yeah, people are dying, like lights going off and flickering and stuff, and then you go through parts where you're in the junk town and there big fights going on, and you're the ghouls shows up and tries to kill you. It was a lot to take in, but it was super cool.
that
Um,
sounds
uh,
awesome. Like, in the Raider section, are people, like, reaching out and touching you, or, like, swinging close to your face and stuff, like a Halloween
well,
trail kind of thing, or is it more like a performance that you walk through?
it was like your standard haunted house is. So they have scare actors that are trying to jump out and get you, quote unquote. They don't actually touch you while you're in there, but one of the things that's unique to Halloween Horror Nights, which I don't know if you've gone to haunted houses in the past,
Oh
but
yeah.
with this, there's a lot of people. They're like not participants, but like park goers, just people showing up, and it's really hard to get that scare just in any of them because it was just so crowded. Essentially, they had you conga line through the entire thing, so
Yeah.
just single file line, and that kind of sucked, but they have their own tricks of the trade to help with that. So a lot of the sections were very like closed off in between each other. So you'd go like for Fallout, for instance, you go through the vault section, and then there'd be some type of like curtain or plastic like covering the next section. So you have to like physically open it to go into the next portion of the area, and they have it in short bursts like that just to make it feel like you're in your own space by yourself. You don't really feel like there's 300 people around you while you're going through it. You feel pretty closed off, which I think helps because I don't know about you, but if you're going like a big conga line and you're haunted your standard haunted house, like you're not going to get any of those scares, like when the actors jump out because you're gonna see it coming a mile away.
Yeah, yeah,
And
it can kind of break the immersion a little bit, like you were saying, and
right,
that's Universal's specialty is the immersion, or at least that's what you were saying earlier.
yeah. So they did a really good job at like keeping you immersed at all times. It was just unfortunate that we went at, I guess, during the busiest time because all the houses that we went to were about an hour long plus. So it
Oh
was just
man.
yeah, the wait times were just awful. It was it was a bad weekend for us to go, but the what actually getting through the houses themselves, it was incredible. Like, it's nothing I've ever seen before.
So
You
how
had to
many
do
of
the
them were
haunted
you able to
houses.
hit?
So there were 10 in total. They had five major IPs, and then they usually do some of their like own design, like original stuff.
Yeah.
We were able to do six of them over the course of 2 nights. Um, with night one, we didn't have a ticket to go into the park early, so we had to wait till they physically opened at 6:30, and
Yeah.
they stay open till 2 in the morning.
Oh good.
So yeah, they're there a long time, but it was just the crowds being so dense with all the places that we went to that we were just physically could not go to everyone without waiting and just dying in the heat.
Just melting to the concrete.
Yeah, because it's straight armpit weather down in Florida,
Oh
90s
goodness.
90s and humid, but once we actually got into the places, like going through the stuff, it was incredible. Like even the ones like there was one we had. It was one of the smaller ones. It was called El Artista, and that was one of the ones that they made. And that one just we didn't really know anything about it, but it was beautiful. It's just tons of areas and stuff like the things that they're able to make in those studios and stuff. It's awesome.
That sounds really unique. El Artista. So it's like a kind of like a Pikmin's model thing where it's like a killer artist.
Yeah, well, essentially, so it was a story of this artist who lives in this mansion, and he's of Spanish descent, and the art he was making was coming to life, and it was all demonic and possessing him and stuff. And the story was like him trying to fight the demons that were coming out of his paintings.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was really well done, and like I said, it was just one of those unexpected ones that we did. We wanted to do all the big ones, which we were fortunate enough to do, but getting able to sneak with one of the smaller ones, it was really cool because you weren't expecting anything because like when you go to like Five Nights at Freddy's or Fallout or Terrifier, which was one of the two, you kind of have like an expectation
Yeah, you
of
know it's gonna be big.
right. But when you go to ones like you don't really know about, you get pleasantly surprised. They did again the houses, all of them that we went to were just phenomenal.
So you hit Five Nights at Freddy's, Fallout, Terrifier, Wyatt Six, El Artista, and what else?
Jason Universe is what they called it.
Oh, okay.
But
Tell us about
so
that one.
so it was kind of like an amalgamation of just Friday the 13th, which Friday the 13th is my favorite like 80s slasher flick series. So it was really cool to see the Jason stuff that they had going on with it. And the there was one scene, one particular part towards the end that was really cool where it was just like a long hallway and it was just people just Jason's just jumping out at you like every 5 seconds, just bam, 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 while the music was playing too. Like it was intense. It was a lot of fun.
I know at other theme parks they'll kind of like set dress the entire park to kind of like give everywhere that sort of Halloween vibe. And then some places will also do like scare zones. So it's like a section of the park that's like decorated in a theme and you just kind of walk through it. Were you guys able to do anything like that? Or did Universal have anything like that this year?
Yeah, yeah, they always do some type of like scare zones. And a cool thing too, in the beginning of the park, they have essentially just statues. I don't know what they made of, but they were like these giant statues like highlighting each of the major parks. So they had a big Fallout like vault door symbol to show that park. They had a bust of Art the Clown with a chainsaw showing the Terrifier one. And then littered throughout the parks at the park they had scare zones which had their own separate theme and stuff. Like one was in their New York section they had like a 1940s, like, like a toxic waste, breakout thing.
Oh,
And then
okay.
one scare zone was a crazy cat lady with her killer cats.
That's awesome.
Yep. So they really go all out with with the horror themes, and they try to give as much as possible. Like even if you're not able to go into the houses or you're waiting too long, you can sit and see someone getting scared somewhere or something going on or music or shows playing.
Did you guys go to any of that stuff? Like any shows or anything?
Yeah, there was one show that they were playing throughout the night. It was like a kind of like a Cirque du Soleil type thing. I think they called it like a horror circus, where it was the themed like dance like routine that they like with fire dancing and stuff.
Oh, I think I've seen that on YouTube, and they're like kind of dressed clown style almost.
Yeah, kind of. A lot
Yeah,
sexier than
not
the regular clowns,
exactly,
but
but yeah, I
yeah,
think I've seen
but it
that
was
before.
yeah. We didn't know what to expect with that one. We were just like, while we're here, might as well see it because it's free, right? So
Yeah.
we poked our heads in, watched the show. It was a half-hour show, and it was crazy. There's a lot of stuff going on. Every 5 seconds, I was going, God damn.
So, do you have any like standout favorites other than stuff you've mentioned so far, or like maybe I don't know, tell us a little bit about Five Nights at Freddy's or Terrifier.
Well, with Five Nights at Freddy's, that was probably the most popular haunted house to get into. That one
Really?
always, yeah, that one in Terrifier had at least an hour and a half to 2 hour waits throughout all points of the night.
Wow.
Those two, yeah, those two were the big ones. And we were able to do them both, but with Five Nights at Freddy's, we got there early and waited like an hour and a half before it even opened officially. The house even opened, just to get into it, and we still had to wait 30 minutes after it opened because the line was just so long.
Dang.
There's a couple pictures that we have. It's mobs of people. It was crazy. But that house was really cool. It was just unfortunate for me because I haven't really played too much of the games. I know a lot of the lore, but this one's like I said, it was talking about the movie, so this was based on the movie. So the locations were like in the pizza place and the security room and things like that. So I can't speak on how one to one it is, but just all the animatronics were just awesome. Like they really nailed a good job because they had just all of them, all the characters like Bonnie, Freddy, Chica. They had them all just littered throughout all the house and just popping out, and they moved like real like they were from real life essentially.
Yeah, I mean
They did
that's
a
the
really good job.
advantage of having animatronics be your horror villain, right? Is that when you go to make a ride or a theme park attraction, they're gonna be one to one accurate because
Right.
you just
Right.
use animatronics.
And Universal is great in their animatronics department, so they nailed it with that. Like it was a no brainer type thing. They were able to do it super well. And then Terrifier, you might be able to speak a little bit more, but I've never seen the Terrifier movies. And my buddy that I went with was like really confused why I haven't because I'm a horror fan. But now that I've been to the haunted house, I want to watch these movies because the haunted house was sick.
Yeah, the Terrifier movies kind of have this reputation of being um, overly cruel and gory, almost something like a Hostel. And really, to me, um, because it's kind of coming through Art the Clown, who, for him, his violence is almost like a performance, at least in the way the character acts, like as he's killing people. Um, to me, it kind of gets silly, and I don't know if that's like my personal desensitization to violence or desensitization to violence, or if I'm actually like quote unquote getting it. But I went to go see Terrifier 3 last year in the theater, and I was laughing like in my seat at some of the stuff because it's just so over the top, gory, and silly. And it's like It's like something you would see in a Mortal Kombat game. To me, it's not
Yeah.
frightening. It's just like gross.
Yeah, and there was one scene that we go through a bathroom, and I'm assuming as people who are fans of Terrifier know bathroom scenes.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Universal did for the immersion was they like to add scents like smells to
Oh.
get you immersed. And and I use the words bathroom and smells, and you can get the picture of what it smelled like. And it did. It was gross.
That's awful.
Yeah.
So it sounds like an overall really successful trip.
Yeah. It was a wonderful time. Honestly, the way they do it is they have like a fast pass system, so you can kind of like quote unquote skip the line. It does cost extra, but it if you're going to Halloween Horror Nights and you have like 1 day to go, if you do the if you do the fast passes, the express passes, what they call them, you should be able to get through all 10 of them in one night. You might get a little desensitized because it's a lot to do in one night still, but
Yeah.
if your time is limited, I'd say it's worth going that extra route just to make sure you see as much as possible.
Yeah, when it comes to theme parks, there's so many like little add-ons and extra things you can buy. And it's hard to know like what's worth it and what isn't.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that you learn through time, trial and error type thing. Like you see what works, you learn from it, you plan out better for next year. Now, I don't know what housing they're going to be doing next year, but if next year is an option, then it's important to make sure you're able to maximize your enjoyment and entertainment of waiting in lines for an hour and a half to spell poop.
So, we recommend the Fast Pass. If you're only going for one night, two
Yeah.
nights you guys were able to get through six of them. Sounds like you still need it if you're only going two nights. Did you guys do any rides or anything else, or just houses back to back?
Universal has their rides open during the Halloween Horror Nights,
Oh,
but even still, those were super long waits. Like there is a Harry Potter ride and a Nubby coaster that they have there that usually are at most 20 to 30-minute waits, but even those were up to 50 minutes plus, depending
oh
on the
wow.
hour. It was insane the amount of people that were there. It was awful.
Sounds like they got to start doing it in August and try and cut
Yeah,
off the flow.
yeah.
That's awesome. Really excited that you got to go, especially because there was a Fallout house, and we've established multiple times, I feel like, on this show, which is weird because it's only episode 3, but Fallout is your favorite IP, so really glad you got to see that.
It was like I was dying from radiation poisoning in real life.
You sent me a couple pictures here. It looks like there's some Fallout themed food, too. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what I had is the cram tots and more, which is which was fried spam, like made into sticks, with cheddar tots underneath them, and they were like with a chili glaze on top of them. Awesome, absolutely phenomenal. I don't know if are you a spam guy? Do you like spam?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are hit and miss with spam, but if it's cooked right, I'm a big fan of it, and it was awesome. And then I also had the yum yum deviled eggs, which were the wildest thing you'd ever eat. It's so they were made to look like deviled eggs, but they weren't eggs. It was like a coconut panna cotta with a pineapple like a whipped cream on top of it.
What?
Yeah,
I'm
it
looking
was
at the picture here. It'll be up in the edit. These look. It looks like a tin of three deviled eggs,
yes, and the
like
second you
paprika and
touched it,
everything.
the second yeah, the top of it was tagine, so it's a little spice on the end of it. But
Man.
the second you touched it, I touched that egg and I was like, this is a real egg. This is not dessert. This is just an egg.
They gave me the
And then,
wrong thing.
and then you take a bite of it. You're like, oh my god, this is just coconut.
Was it
It
good?
was awesome. It was absolutely delicious. But it was that disconnect that was just it was wild. It's like eating like a candied cricket or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know if I could eat that, man. That might weird me out.
It it can be weird, but oh man, yeah, it was fun. It was the Fallout themed foods were more of like a novelty, but I thought they were great. And then I had a quantum. They call it a mocktail. I don't think it had alcohol in it, but it was just a bunch of blue stuff essentially. Not the best drink I've had, but it was quantum. So like me being biased, I was able to enjoy it.
Yeah, the mocktails are weird because some of them have mixers in them, and mixers will
Yeah,
have like a really low alcohol content.
yeah,
So it's hit or miss on if there's alcohol in a mocktail or not. It's a strange beverage area if you ask me, but I I gotta get out there and try some. I don't think I've
yeah.
had one before.
Well, if you go down there, get a. They have another one. It was a Radaway, and they actually served that one in a like a blood bag, because in the games the Radaways are in blood bags, and I think that was also a mocktail as well. And I wasn't able to try that because I'm broke and I could only afford one thing. So so
Well,
so
I
we picked.
bet after Universal tickets, man, that's how it goes.
Oof, man, pricey, pricey.
And if you want more reasons to be broke, moving into our next story, we'll talk about Magic the Gathering's product release cadence, which will destroy everyone's wallet. But before we move on, any final thoughts about Universal this year?
It was a great time. I want to shout out to the wife for helping me fund this trip. And I'd say if you have the opportunity to go, go. Even if not this year, there's usually they'll have one or two big crazy houses, especially if you're in the mood for spooky season. They usually have one or two houses that are just like super cool themed, um, almost like a crossover, like a universes beyond, if you will.
A Universal Beyond.
Ooh, boom,
Boom.
thumbnail.
MagicCon Atlanta, almost every product from now till the beginning of 2027. Nibby, you said you haven't heard some of this stuff, most of it. I'm interested to see your honest reactions as we go through. So, starting
Yeah, I
off,
was indisposed over the weekend, so missed a
yeah,
good chunk of this.
Holiday 2025, we're getting Final Fantasy scene boxes. So these are 4 boxes representing scenes from Final Fantasy games. I'm not a big FF fan, so none of these really, like, I can't just look at a grouping of cards and say, oh, that's these people from this game. But maybe some of this will jump out at you.
Yeah, 15. Funny enough, that was the only one of these that I actually played. So I like the boys. That's the homies up there just chilling. That's me right there.
It's like Noctis and Fishing Gear and Chocobo Camp, that set up in the top
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
All right. And then also in Holiday 2025, we're getting a special Commander bundle, which is the Limit Break Commander deck, and you get this promo Cloud Midgar Mercenary. I think this is interesting because we saw Midgar Mercenary's price pretty much do nothing but fall since release, and I wonder if some people had the in that they knew that this alternate art was coming out, and this looks pretty much like a FF7 screenshot, upscaled a little bit. He looks kind of cell shaded in the art. It's really neat here.
Yeah. That's like the cover art, isn't it? It's like the one to one.
I'm not, again, I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy fan. I don't want to say something that isn't right, but that definitely looks like he's in a pose that could be some cover art or like maybe disc art or something for one of the discs, because I know that game was
Yeah,
multiple discs originally.
yeah. It looks like it's more like colorized and stuff. But yeah, that's like the cover art pose.
Oh, okay. And then
Neat.
also in holiday 2025, we're getting this Chocobo bundle. I've already had friends messaging me saying that they want this thing. The little life counter is cute. I think this is a really nice touch and a good way to go, especially because you can see it goes past 20, so you can use it in Commander and other formats. Um, it comes with one of these Paradise Chocobo promos, and then these alt art anime foils look amazing. This isn't all of them. This is just three that I grabbed. Here's Vivi, Stiltskin, and Locke, but there's probably 12 of them all together. They're all out on Reddit and all kinds of places. Magic's website, I'm sure, will have the full list of them as well. But I think that's kind of a neat product, a good way to infuse some more product for this standard set back into the market, and good gift for FF fans in your playgroup.
Yeah, especially those that weren't able to get Vivi.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of kicking myself too because I already have the Cloud Commander deck, and I needed a Cloud Midgar Mercenary. Now there's no reason for me to buy it because I don't want two Commander decks.
Of the exact same thing, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe people will probably sell the promo by itself.
should have waited. Should have waited.
And then on October 13th, so this is actually before holiday. My slides are slightly out of order here. I apologize. This is the Secret Scare Super Drop. There's also two more Furby layers on here that aren't on the slide, but we'll just start with that. Furby is part of Magic the Gathering. What are your immediate thoughts here?
Finally. It's like, man, you know what this game needed? The magical creatures and different universes. We needed Furby. We needed a toy from the 90s.
Well, it's interesting because Hasbro owns both, and I regrettably didn't picture any of the cards here, but Secret Lair Furby does mark the first time we see a Secret Lair property and a actual Magic character together on a card. I think it's Tamio's Safekeeping there's a printing of, and Tamio's like feeding one of the Furbies like sushi. It's adorable.
Oh, no, yeah, that's just downright cute.
And then we've got an Iron Maiden layer. There's actually two of those. Again, I don't have every card from every layer pictured here because there's just so much coming out next year. But this Artist Series, Kyrian Yonner, also has a Demonic Tutor and a Lord of the Pit as the other two cards in it, which was really good value. This Jaws secret layer, I'm super hyped for.
That's super sick. I mean, after coming from Universal, that's all they had was Jaws merchandise. So
Yeah.
I'm accustomed to it. That's sick.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. I've been messing around with lists for this deck already. Also have Dreaming Darkly. The two cards that aren't pictured here are Rune of the Hidden Realms, and I think it's Soul Catcher is the name of the card. It gets experience counters like Star Wars. It gets +1/+1 counters whenever you bounce your creature. Not bounce, whenever you blink your creatures. Oh, excuse me. And then we have this Trick or Treat layer, which I think is really exciting. They're all kind of dressed up in Halloween costumes here. You got Voja, Satoru Umezawa, kind of butchered that, and Vito, Thorn of the Dusk Rose. There's a couple more cards in this layer too, but it's just all popular Magic characters, or I would say popular cards, dressed up for Halloween. So overall, I think this Super Drop is really cool, and this drops on October 13th. And then on October 27th, we have the PlayStation Secret Lair. Now, at the time that I made this presentation, all of the cards weren't revealed, although I think they are now. So you can check Secret Lair's website, or I'm sure it's all over social media at this point for the rest of these cards. But Nemy, I know you're a big God of War fan. How long before you build Kratos Stoic Father?
soon as it comes in the mail. Yeah, I loved the God of War games and not the remasters, but I guess the newer ones from the Norse mythology. They're phenomenal. Great storytelling. And even the original God of War Secret Lair, the Kratos God of War, that's an insane mono red deck. That'd be wild.
Yeah,
Super aggro.
all creatures have haste. Everybody get in there.
Everybody hurting everybody. Let's do
Yeah, oh, that might be a good card for Jaws, actually.
it. Yeah, sure.
That's just another
He's
aggressive red deck.
And then another one that I'm actually interested in too is The Last of Us Part One. I think Joel and Ellie make a really cool pair, just making tokens and killing them.
Yeah, and together, you get Jund, which is just classic shard for grinding out games, getting value out of your lands, getting like incremental value each turn while like taking stuff away from your opponents. Uh, I think that's going to be a cool little partner commander deck as well.
The only thing that I didn't care about, like all of these in general, is just the rest of the cards of the layers. Like all of these are really cool, like unique, and they actually play into like what they are in the games. But the extra cards that come from the layers are just abysmal. Like the both the Last of Us Part One and Two, you get a token. Like, come on, like, and
Yeah.
the God of War Ragnarok one, you get a double-sided card. That's the same card.
Yeah, so that honestly takes me to our very next slide in Lorwyn Eclipse. This comes out in January of next year. And in addition to some of the stuff pictured here, Lorwyn is going to have double-sided shock lands where it's the same card on both sides, but one side represents like Lorwyn during the day, and the other side represents Shadowmoor, which is like Lorwyn at night. I'm not 100% on the exact lore. Some lore masters in the comments can tell me exactly how the Morning Tide changes, Shadowmoor back to Lorwyn and whatnot. But Lorwyn is a classic magic plane. It's kind of based on Celtic mythology. And just with some of the cards here, I feel like they are really swinging for the fences with this set. Already announcing serialized cards. The elemental incarnations are back. Sig is back, which is a pretty popular character in Magic lore. And Mutable Explorer makes the land Mutavault just as a token, like Overlord of the Hauntwood style. Nemy, I know you weren't around for the original Lorwyn, which, God, I think might be 20 years ago at this point. Maybe 18 years ago. I don't want to try and hit the nail right on the head. But you have any immediate impressions just kind of looking at what we've got here as someone that's maybe
Well,
less enfranchised? Because I know all the old heads like me are just flopping on this set's meat. Like, we love it.
well, funny enough, a lot of people really clamored and like the serialized cards, and I get it. Like you want to add collectability to your set, and that seems to be like not the middle ground per se, but it just seems to be the poison of most people's choice. So it's cool that they brought that back, and I want to see how many more sets in the future they do with that. And for me personally, I have to really dig into cards and just seeing what's on screen. It seems like it could be fun. I'm mostly a commander player, so I can't really speak about the other formats. But looking at these things that right now, like the Ashling's command, having that mutability with choosing two of those, seems like it could be really, really good for a lot of people.
Yeah, Morning Tide's Light is a card that I think is really interesting. So you get to exile any number of creatures, and at the beginning of the next end step, you return them tapped. So you're gonna blink your whole team; it's gonna come in tapped. But until your next turn, Morning Tide's Light is just gonna prevent all damage that's dealt to you. So it's like a slow motion to Fairy's protection. You were talking about being like primarily a commander player, and I think this is like the direction I want to see these big protection effects move in Commander. Let's get away from phasing out. Let's get away from one ring style protection from everything. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's really good, especially if you're going to be more of an aggro style, because you could use this aggressively. Like if your opponent has a wide board, you just blink them all out so you can get in for big damage. Like me
Yeah.
have lightning army of one in Boros, and she's mostly equipment based, so just having so I feel super scared having lightning on the board because most people are just going to block her, even though she has all the keywords on her. But if I'm able to blink someone's board out of the way so they can't block it and just hit it with huge damage, seems backbreaking. They could kill a person out of nowhere.
Yeah, I didn't even see that this isn't your creatures. It's any number. You could blink the whole table with this. Oh my goodness. On top of that, did you catch the artist on Morning Tide's Light?
That Mark Poole.
That's Mark Poole. Mark, Nemy and I actually met Mark at Gen Con last year. Mark's the man. He's so nice. Even though there's people clamoring around him for signatures, he takes a couple seconds, says hello, asks how you're doing, how your con's going. Excellent guy. Drew a mustache on a Birds of Paradise for me. So, awesome, dude.
This one's for you, Mark. Good guy.
And then in April next year, we have Secrets of Strixhaven. We're going to be returning to the plane that Strixhaven takes place on, but not necessarily limited to the college campus. And I think what's most interesting about this so far is that Sean Maguire is going to release a YA novel called Omen of Chaos that is going to take place on or in and around Strixhaven and on that plane. And Command Tower is going to be a promo when you buy a physical book. This hasn't been a thing for, I don't know, 15 years? Magic novels and physical promos coming in them. Nimi, did you know that Magic the Gathering had novels at one point?
Yeah, I knew they were very not versed per se, but they were very in depth on their lore in that they were novelizations and a lot of things. And I know mostly hearing from the prof, like he loved those types of things and always brought it up fondly. So it's now that Magic's been growing and more people are getting into it, it's cool to see them expanding more on their lore with stuff like this. And who doesn't love a free promo? Everybody does.
Everybody loves a free promo. And after a couple of in-universe, arguably a banger, and then we will have to see, we're going into June, baby. Marvel superheroes. Apparently, Dave Humphreys, the man behind Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, Kaldheim, and March of the Machines, is going to be the gameplay designer on this, with Mark Rosewater himself taking the vision designer role. I'm not 100% clear on what that means. I think that's like the aesthetic of the set. And Mark said that the set is specifically aiming to emulate the comic versions of characters, less so than their TV adaptations. Those are going to kind of blend into each other because as the movies got more popular, the comics started to reflect what the movie characters looked like. And you can kind of even see in this Nick Fury screenshot down here, like, Doctor Strange kind of looks like Benedict Cumberbatch, but I don't really fault it for that. How do you feel about Marvel coming out almost a year after Spider-Man?
It just it just disappoints the hell out of me for Spider-Man because Spider-Man's my boy. Me and him go way back. I mean, I like Marvel as a whole thing too, and I think it's really cool that they're doing more of the comics than the MCU. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the MCU is good for what it is, from its own standpoint, but there's just so much more they can grab from the comics because it's literal decades of source material and stories that they can just pull from. Not even like a one to one, but just like reference and stuff. So I think it's a lot. I think it's a smarter move to do that than just stick with the MCU.
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't know if I feel great about this set either. And I'll tell you why. Because my boy Wolverine is right there all by his lonesome. Um, a lot of times, Wolverine gets kind of plucked out of the X-Men and given special treatment, and he'll be like the only X-Man in a uh, I don't want to say in a comic because that's usually not true, but he might be the only X-Man in a movie or in a game, or in this case, my fear is that he will be the only X-Man in Marvel superheroes. And the rest of the X-Men will be relegated to either their own X-Men set or like maybe a Wolverine commander deck. Um, I think I'd feel a lot better if that was Storm back there and not War Machine, you know? Just telling us that, like, hey, we're going to have more than just Wolverine here, but there are two wolves inside of me. And one of them wants there to be a just X-Men set, and one of them is afraid that there will be just an X-Men set, if that makes any kind of sense.
Well, yeah. Well, I think it's good that they have something a little more, like not generic, but more universal, I guess, because a lot of people complain with Spider-Man specifically because there's almost half the set is just Spider-Man in some form and fashion, even if it's not just Peter Parker, just everything named Spider.
Yeah.
So it's good that they're able to diversify a little bit more. They're able to make a lot more different characters, more unique stuff, and they're not limited to one specific, I guess, power set. Because Spider-Man across all of them pretty much do the same thing, right? Stick
Yeah.
to walls, have webs, they jump. So,
Yeah.
so it's good to have different characters with different powers and movesets. So I think it's a smarter choice than just like narrowing it down to just one character. But I could see where X-Men could be another set in and of itself. And I mean, everyone likes Wolverine, so he'll be there. Don't worry about it.
So you looking forward to this one? What do you think?
Sure.
I
Long answer short. I don't really know.
2026. We've got The Hobbit. Um, little is known at this time about the set. We got a couple pieces of art, and the big question on everyone's
That's a
lips.
Hobbit.
Yeah, the question on everyone's lips is, will they reprint the One Ring? Will the One Ring be in standard?
Will there be two One Rings? Who's to say?
Who's?
I'd say yes. I'd say it's kind of a no-brainer, right?
I mean, you kind of have to, right?
Yeah. Even if it's not the One Ring, like they have to have it in some form or fashion.
I think
The
that's the
only thing I
world.
can say is Post Malone's pissed.
I think that's the world I want to live in. I want to live in the world where they reprint the One Ring and they call it the Ring of Power. And it does something different. And it's just its own unique card. And if you wanted to, you could run the One Ring and the Ring of Power in your deck. You know? Just don't make it as
Well,
busted, please.
it also opens up a lot of possibilities because we've like just even before the pod, we always talk about universes beyond and how if they make a mechanically unique card, it's hard to translate that in form of reprints because it's stuck behind the set. But now we have another IP or the same IP just being reprinted or kind of being reprinted in a different
Yeah.
way. So it's interesting to see how they capitalize on that or if they do anything with it at all. Because Me personally, I don't want to spend $30 on an Orcish Bowmasters, so I think it'd be cool to have them reprinted here.
Yeah, I didn't consider that this could be an avenue to reprint some heavy hitters from a set that's locked behind an IP deal. Like you see Smog here. I mean, hopefully they don't just straight reprint Smog, right? They kind of give us a new one. But I think that would be a win on their part if they took the time, kind of thought about what needs reprints from Lord of the Rings. Like, I'm pretty sure, I think it's Legolas's Quick Reflexes is the name of the card. It's like a modern and legacy playable green card that was only in the scene boxes. And I think this would be another great target for a reprint for something like The Hobbit. Although I don't know if Legolas is in The Hobbit. He might be mentioned, but I feel like you
Bonus
could
sheet,
stretch it in
baby.
there. Bonus sheet, baby. All right, I'm back in. We're back in. In October 2026, we have an in-universe set called Reality Fractures. This is the conclusion of the Metronome arc, which is like the current arc in Magic Story. Don't ask me what that means. I haven't been paying attention. But apparently, this will be some kind of continuation of the Thunder Junction storyline featuring Vraska, Lute, and Jace. And this is the only like splash art or anything I could find for this set. At the con, they were talking like, "Oh, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be so wild," but they also didn't give us much detail. So we'll just have to see.
Very cool.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of yeah. We know as much as the regular man because we don't have connections.
And rounding out the year in November, Star Trek. Gavin Verhey is confirmed as lead designer on this one, and spaceships are returning from Edge of Eternities. I think if you're gonna do Star Trek, you have to do spaceships. I feel kind of weird about this one, man. I'm a big Star Trek fan, and a lot of what I've seen so far appears to be just the original series. Kirk, Spock, all of them. And I don't know if just the original series could carry an entire mainline Magic set. And on top of that, we're going to get artists' renditions of just people, like real life people, on cards. How does that sit with you, Nemy?
To me personally, it doesn't make much of a difference because I mean, especially when it comes to things like Star Trek, like there's not really. I mean, I'm sure there's comics and other media, but people know the characters as the actors, right? Like for me, I'm a Star Wars guy, and everybody knows Mark Hamill is Luke Skywalker, so that's kind of what they try to mimic is to make the character look like him as much as possible. So I don't think it means much to me specifically. I just hope the actors or the likenesses are getting compensated as fairly as possible, if at all.
Yeah. I think you and I play Star Wars Unlimited, and there are a lot of cards in that game that look like an actor. But they do their best to not make them photorealistic. They're all kind of stylized, or I don't want to say watercolory, but you can tell it's like a painting or a drawing that someone has done. And that's true with this Captain Kirk boldly going here too, but it's almost too good. You know what I'm saying? This looks so much like Bill Shatner from back in the day. So I
Yeah, that
want to
looks
like
good enough to
this
hang up
set.
on a wall.
As a Star Trek fan, I'm hoping that this set does everything that I want it to do. But after seeing The Hobbit, I'm kind of afraid they're going to split it up. They're going to do the original series, and then in a year or two, we'll get the next generation. And then maybe we can reprint some stuff that's busted out of Star Trek. So, for those of us counting, that's only 6. We're getting into speculation territory now, everyone. You'll notice the presentation is short one of the promised 7 sets for 2026. Unconfirmed. In March of 2026, Wizards will release its second collab with Nickelodeon. According to WarGamer.com, this collab is almost certainly Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're basing that on a couple of the names of people attached to this project. Apparently, there's an announcement going to come up on October 10th at a Comic-Con, and a couple of the names attached to that event are big in the Ninja Turtles space. They've worked on like multiple series or comics and things like that. So, with all signs pointing to the Turtles, how do you feel?
I mean, I know some people are super excited for it. Me personally, I'm not that much of a Turtles guy. Never really grew up with it that much. I mean, it was around the time I was growing up. I just never really watched it. So I think it's cool. I mean, personally, I don't mind other IPs just in general. So, cowabunga, I guess.
It's pizza time. This, to me, I think this is another Star Trek situation. I think if they do it right, it could be awesome. If they lean into only the modern Turtles, I feel like they're gonna miss the mark completely, especially because Universes just had a set come out that was all of the modern Turtle stuff. So it'll be competing in that way. And I don't know why, but something about this set to me already feels like Spider-Man. And maybe it's because they're both in New York, but something tells me that this is another product that got shuffled around and changed to be a full set. I don't know why I feel that way. Again, speculation alert. But my hope is that this set has been intended to be a full set from the beginning, and it'll be more complete, it'll be draftable on Arena, all that good stuff. But I don't know, maybe it's New York City, maybe it's just the taste of Spider-Man on my tongue, but something about this set feels off to me.
Yeah, considering it's the one that they haven't technically announced yet, after they
Right.
already have all of these set up, it definitely feels like it's a last minute type thing, and I see the apprehension. Like, I know nobody wants to get burned again, but at this day and age, like, who has the money to be buying like every single set that comes out and investing in it? I it's wild to see how much they're printing and how much the hype train just keeps on going and doesn't reach the station. So
It never stops.
it's okay to it's okay to take a break from it. But yeah, it's cool if it comes out and does well. But for me personally, if it doesn't stick, though, it doesn't really matter to me.
All right, everyone, and that is just about every product from now until the end of 2026. We didn't mention Avatar. I think everybody already knows about that one, but that's in November of 25. Anything else that crops up, of course, there'll be Commander decks and supplementary products and secret layers. We'll talk about that stuff here as well, but for now, this is everything we know about next year's product line from Magic the Gathering, and my wallet already hurts. Moving on to our video game story of today. 2XKO is the fighting game that Riot has been developing for, I don't know, 5 years now, is finally going to be accessible to a wide audience, leaving closed beta. I've been putting some time on this game recently. It's a lot of fun if you like 2v2 tag fighters. And I think what's really unique about this game is you can play with a partner. So say Nemy and I wanted to play some 2XKO, we wouldn't have to fight each other. We could each be one member of the team on our tag team and then queue up into other people, which I think is really cool. In that vein, in addition to coming out of closed beta on October 7th, 2XKO is a free-to-play game. So you can earn credits in-game to buy new characters, buy skins, all that stuff. And of course, I'm sure there'll be a microtransaction system later on. I wouldn't buy anything now. I would expect the game to go through a few resets before it's finally fully launched. But the main thing I wanted to talk about here is that Riot is announcing a $110,000 prize pool for about 22 community tournaments. So it's about 5K per event. And it's like a mix of online and offline events from what I understand. And that is a ton of money to be putting into a game's tournament scene when it's in early access before you even want to say, hey, this game is done and out. I know games like Street Fighter and City of Wolves and stuff have really big, like $1 million prize pools for their tournament scenes, but I don't think a 5K, picking up a little $3,000 or $4,000 for your win is bad in a game that's this young. And we were talking a second ago about playing, two players on a team. Well, you can enter a tournament that way. And if you and your partner win that way, Riot will add extra money to the pot. They have what's called a duo player bounty. So if you and a friend enter a tournament and end up placing high or going all the way, you'll get extra prize money added on for playing in this kind of unique style. So I thought that was really cool.
It's really cool. I know a lot of times with fighting games, like it's hard to differentiate. There's a lot of overlaps. A lot of times you have to make something that's unique and special. And the dual tag team, like with two different people, that's really fun. That sounds like a really fun time.
Oh,
Sounds like
yeah.
a wrestling match. Just tag me out, bro.
Yeah, and of course, like a Dragon Ball Fighters or something, you can call in an assist, or in this game, there's things called fuses where you can edit the way that you play to like better fit your play style. So there's like the double down fuse where you can use your super and then your teammate's super right after, like they chain into each other. Or there's one called Juggernaut where you don't have a teammate at all and you're like twice as powerful and you have like your Fury bar full when you start the match. So there's a lot of depth here, even though the game is pretty small. It's only 10 characters, and if you've ever played League of Legends, Teemo has just been announced as the 10th character, and I believe he's rolling out on October 7th as the game goes into early access. If you have played the game before, they're making a lot of changes. I would go read the patch notes, but one thing I did want to mention here, just for a general audience, is currently in the game, it costs 10,000 credits to purchase a new character, and the cap is 10,000 credits, meaning that if you wanted to bank credits and wait for a character to be released, you essentially couldn't do that. You would have to spend and re-earn credits just so you weren't like wasting them. But Riot has already increased the cap from 10 to 30,000, which will effectively let you bank 2 characters worth of credits and still have about 9k to play with and buy cosmetics and things like that. So the game isn't even out, and they're already making their monetization model more friendly to people that play the game. And if you haven't played the game, you can earn 10,000 credits in about a week of playing an hour or two a night. It's not bad at all.
That's good. I mean, it's kind of a good thing that they have a game like this where they already have an established one with League of Legends, so they're not really banking on this to make them as much money as possible. So cool.
Yeah, it seems like they're really trying to ingratiate themselves with the fighting game community. I think I'm really excited for the start of this game, but I think time will tell if it really grabs people's attention. And then Marvel Tokon, which is a 4v4 tag game, that comes out next year. So we'll see if 2XKL can kind of weather that storm, but I've been really enjoying it for now.
Last thing on the docket for today, people, is our moment of Zen. So everybody, gather around while we look at this silly little story here. So, a video was captured from the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife where a black bear stole a package off someone's porch. So they released it to their social media that the bear came up to the person's front porch and stole a sweater and just walks off with.
Yeah, it's in one of those poly Amazon bags. He gets about 3 or 4 steps into the yard and then just kind of stops and the video ends. That's hilarious. Have you ever had a package stolen off of your front porch?
No, thankfully not. But the first thing, if it did happen, I would not think a bear would take it or
Me
an animal.
either. I have, and it's super annoying. And you always like fantasize about catching the person that's been like stealing packages off your porch. And imagine, you got your little baseball bat and your angry speech ready. You go up to the door and rip it open, and it's a 600-pound black bear.
just just staring at you. And one of the things that the Department of Fish and Wildlife, they did a quick PSA, uh, especially if you have food out, so your DoorDash and Uber deliveries. So they will come to the front porch, and that's most likely why this bear was doing it. He thought it was a McDonald's DoorDash that he was going to get a quick swipe of, but ended up getting a sweater.
So, oh man, this wasn't a Tim Peeves.
And yeah, and black bears are pretty smart. They like to. They if their food is there, they will come back to it. So I know we've taken trips, or I've taken trips to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and that's where a lot of them like to hang around where the food's at. So
Oh
they're
yeah.
scavengers and they'll find it.
I went to Gatlinburg one year, and the day after we left, we saw a news story that a black bear was just walking the strip of Gatlinburg. He was like walking around in front of the aquarium, walking by the mall, just enjoying life.
Yeah. So little reminder to you folks at home: if you get packages or get food delivered to you, just go pick it up. Don't forget about it. Otherwise, someone or something will might swipe it.
Well, everyone, that's everything we had for today. Jam packed episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, come back for the next one. Nemy, you got any thoughts to take us home?
Well, the spooky season's almost upon us, so lock your doors, turn your lights down low, put on a scary movie. It's time to hit that jive one more time, and we'll be here every step of the way with our newest news and having a good old time. So if you like it, give us a thumbs up and come on back.